there, it's 3 o'clock on a Tuesday. We all know what that means. Another riveting episode of Behind Breaking Bond. Andy Kahn is not here. He's missing. Joining me is
Sydney Zeiger. I'm the director of the Safe Community Institute. Andy's handler.
And
Caitlin Fry, programs manager between Safe Community and Safe School Institute. Just the backbone
Can you have
between
a longer
the both of them.
title?
right.
It's because I'm the most important.
Oh,
Of course you are.
not
Does
Andy? Andy's not
I was
the-
going to say, does Andy know you're the most important?
Yes, he
Oh,
actually
okay, he does.
actually calls me the social media sleuth
Okay.
because I'm the one who actually helps him with all this.
I used to be
information.
enough for him before you.
It takes two of us now.
That's the truth. You've been focusing a lot on Crime Stoppers about an issue that's continuing to grow, and we've talked about this many, many times, and it's felon in possession of a weapon.
Yes. So, there was a bill that was passed last session, SB 6, that made it possible or made it, people can't give PR bonds for certain violent offenses.
Right.
So we've seen a lot of those offenses and PR bonds given go down, 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 down. And we're grateful. I
Yes.
think a lot of that has to do because of the show, because of the work that you and Andy have done, that Crime Stoppers has done largely. Great. But in seeing that, one offense that we are seeing PR bonds a lot and just a lot more of this offense is felon in possession of a weapon. So our Glenda Gordy Research Center, which was launched this year, has kind of taken a deeper dive into those numbers to look at what we're seeing. And so what we've noticed is that since 2019, our felon in possession of a weapon related charges, we actually look at 12 different charges. Felon in possession of a weapon is a very confusing thing to look at.
It is, yes.
There's a lot of different charges that basically all mean the same
Right.
thing. And we've seen those cases rise by 80% since 2019. Then if we look at just 2020 to 2022, we've seen that rise 64%, and we're
Wow.
continuing to see those grow. Now, internally, as we look at cases to add to our unfortunate list of those who have lost loved ones due to multiple felony bonds, PR bonds, that kind of thing, we've started noticing that a lot of these cases that do have PR bonds, those PR bonds are for felon in possession of a weapon.
And people, I think, need to realize that. And again, this is not about giving someone a second chance, if you will. If you're a convicted felon and you're not supposed to have a weapon, I mean, it's just that simple. And if you want to successfully complete your parole, or you want to do what society expects you to do now, then you're not going to have a weapon. I think we can all agree that a felon in possession of a weapon, that person is not walking around with a gun to protect themselves. That you have to wonder what their motive is to be in violation of everything and have a gun.
And we've seen, a felon in possession of a weapon, and that weapon is a machine gun. We've seen that on several cases lately. And then we see them, unfortunately, go on to kill somebody or allegedly kill somebody. And so that's something that we're really looking at. We're gearing up for the legislative session that starts in the new year. And this is a specific scenario, a specific offense that we're looking to add maybe to that SB 6 bill. Therefore, someone can't be granted a PR bond for felon in possession of a weapon.
And Andy's he's been big on this topic for quite a while now. And one of the things in researching defendants that end up on breaking bond segments, we constantly see that where they have a felon in possession of a weapon charge, or they've been convicted of it a couple of times. And I think that the judicial system, for whatever reason, has kind of taken the attitude of, well, it's not that serious of an offense because it's not violent. They didn't shoot anybody.
It's not a shooting yet.
That's right.
And that's something that we have to pay attention to.
Right.
Because someone who's already proven that they're not going to follow the law, they are a felon, a convicted felon, now possessing that weapon. Well, that incident that they were arrested and charged felon in possession of a weapon was one step from being an actual shooting.
There you go.
And, when we're looking at homicide cases, in fact, I pulled numbers for our CEO, Renia, last week, and our homicide numbers, our aggravated assault numbers, our sexual assault numbers are slightly down, all about between 10 and 13%, which still makes them a 3 decades high.
True. Right.
But down slightly from last year. But when I'm looking at each of these homicide cases, it is no surprise and no new news that the vast majority of them are weapon related.
Yeah,
gun related. So again, that felon in possession of a weapon is one step from being, maybe a shooting or a homicide.
Right. One thing that I know you all are really working on is you want to make it easy for people.
Absolutely.
The legislative session is going to start in January. You all are really doing a lot to make it easy for people to understand the process and get involved in the process.
Yes, absolutely. So she keeps mentioning SB6, and for many people, they're probably like, what was that? So we actually had a breakdown of it last year. We're going to do another legislation briefing in the beginning of January. Once these bills start coming out, we're actually going to have a landing page for you all to be able to access. We're going to digest it for you, because a lot of these bills can be very confusing to people if we don't know what they are, and we want to make that easier for you. So once those bills start coming out, we're going to break them down. If you have questions, you're always going to be able to reach out to us for that. But we're going to have all that. We're going to have that briefing just so people can understand what the system is, understand what legislation even means, how they can get involved, and continue that knowledge and kind of spread around. So,
And it's easy to understand how if you're not in a job that is somehow related to the criminal justice system or all of these issues, no one would expect you to. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there, if you ask them, who's your city council person? Who's your state representative? Who's your state senator? They don't know. And there's no reason to be embarrassed by that, because, hey, we all got a life. We've all got stuff that you got to do. And if it's not directly involved in your day-to-day life, you probably don't know. But one thing that I've learned through doing Breaking Bond, and Andy, I think, has seen this too, people want to get involved. And so what we're trying to do is sort of make it easy for you to get involved. I'm telling you, when you reach out to your lawmaker, your state senator, your state rep, even if it's by email or a phone message or whatever, they pay attention to that. We are the people. By our votes, we put these people in office, and they know if they want to stay in office, they have to listen to the constituents, to the people that put them there. So I can impress on you how it does make a difference. I think people think, well, they're not going to, pay attention to my one little email. No, your one little email counts. And your one little email could just be one of hundreds, if not thousands of emails from other people that are concerned about the same thing you are.
So part of the legislative briefing that we'll be hosting at the end of January is we're having Allison Steele come. So Allison Steele's daughter went missing, but she was over the age of 18 when she went missing. And so she reached out to law enforcement, asked for an AMP alert, that you get on your phone.
Yeah.
And they said, there's really nothing that we can do because she's technically an adult. So that system is not in place. Either you have to be a child or you have to be an elder to get that alert on your phone.
Right.
So she, like many of the community members who want to get involved, knew nothing of the system, knew nothing of who does what or what to do, but she took it upon herself to learn. And ultimately she got a bill passed that now has the opportunity for people in the regular 18 to seniority age to have something called a clear alert. So likely all of you have had a clear alert on your phone before, and that's an adult that goes missing for whatever reason. And so she's coming to explain her side, her story, and then we are also providing education on basic civics and how a law becomes a bill. We'll create graphics and easy to understand things.
And for a lot of people, you learn this stuff back in high school or I don't remember anything from high school, right? It's time passes, and again, if it's not like an integral part of your life, you just sort of forget about it. But she's a perfect example of many times it's tragic things, it's bad things that lead to new laws. And keep in mind too, there's going to be a push during this legislative session to kind of not tie the hands of judges, but to make things even clearer for them, to help them as far as what they can and cannot have access to when it comes to giving a defendant a bond. And this is an issue that obviously it's not going to go away. I mean, we've not been doing Breaking Bond for more than 2 years now. And again, I'm not doing this to smack judges around. This is a public safety issue. That's why Andy got involved in it.
Yeah.
That's why Crime Stoppers got involved in it, because it's a problem. It's a serious public safety issue that we just want to make everybody aware of it. And we also want to let people know that if it's something that you care about, you want to see a change, that's going to be possible this year during the legislative session.
Last session, something that didn't pass was a constitutional amendment that would give judges,
Yes.
actually, it would give the public the opportunity to vote if they'd like a new law passed or an amendment to the Constitution passed that would allow judges to have discretion on if they should grant a bond or not. Because I will never forget, Andy and I and several other people were in Austin, and a judge from Dallas testified about how she would love to be able to not give a violent defendant a bond, but she can't. By constitutional law, she must give a bond. And so she would like the discretion for something other than capital murder.
Right. And that, to me, that's always kind of been my pet peeve, if you will, is the Texas Constitution does allow judges to say, no, you're charged with capital murder, you are not getting a bond. And it makes perfect sense, because most capital defendants are facing the death sentence or the possibility of serving a life sentence.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why you don't want to give capital murder defendants bond. But in the last couple of years, we've seen more than I can say off the top of my head, capital murder defendants who
We've seen $10,000 bonds for capital murder, $25,000.
And some of these people aren't going to be going to trial because they're long gone. They fled. They're never to be seen again.
Yeah, so we're going to do our best in January to give a digestible summary of some of the crime-related bills that we've seen. Ones that I already know have been filed. There's one filed, I believe, by Representative Johnson that is asking for a minimum 10% bond, which is, another big issue that we've been discussing in our county.
Which would be, because right now that's just within Harris County. And there was not, before it was just sort of an understood, okay, you're going to have to come up with 10% of the bond amount. And so everybody just naturally thought, well, that's the way that it works. Well, then we found that there was some unscrupulous bond companies, just a handful, that were basically giving defendants 2%, 3%, putting them on payment plans.
Yeah.
I mean, it got kind of crazy. So that would mean that it would be a statewide law, which would be a good thing.
There's another one that I've read that asks for more judges in Harris County. I think
Which we
3,
desperately need.
and those would be appointed by the governor's office instead of voted upon like they are now. There's another one. Kate, there's another one that I'm missing. I don't know. But all to say, we're looking at basically anything that touches crime and how can we easily explain it, because these are so confusing. I remember last year we sat for hours creating a summary that was easily digestible for people, because you read it and you're like, what does this mean?
Well, there's so many times that there's the legalese thing, right? Where you're, well, I'm not an attorney, and I've gotten pretty, and you probably are too, just looking at all these court documents, you start picking up some of the jargon, right?
Yeah.
You know what things mean, but.
Yeah, for sure. So at the core of our community program in Crime Stoppers is education. So anything that we can do to make this easier for you to understand, whether we're explaining those court documents or explaining those bills that are being filed, just so that you're more educated, or how a bill comes to law, where you can see what's happening next, that kind of thing.
And I think it's human nature that we live in Houston, and we want to take care of Houston. We love Houston. We want to kind of do what's right for the community, for the city. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, that was
Twan's going to speak.
comment, a viewer.
Yes.
Andy Kahn.
Oh, no.
Andy, you're supposed to be driving.
Right.
Can Spot News conduct a viewer poll whether or not Cindy or Caitlin should replace Andy Kahn as host?
My vote is yes. I vote yes.
Con is Caitlin. If you're going to throw me out to the wolves like that, Caitlin's your girl.
She threw you under the bus a minute ago, didn't she?
I'm used
It was
to
like,
it.
what was
It's
about that?
fine.
And I'm like, I'm seeing the terror here.
She's like, I don't know.
Why are you asking me
I can
that?
only keep so many things up here.
That's
I'm telling
right.
you, I'm really ready for the holidays.
Yeah.
My brain is
Hey,
there.
hey, before we go, I've got to point this out. We have a new anchor, Caroline Collins, that I guess I'm not real sure when she's going to be on the air. Probably next week, I guess. But anyway, this woman's a huge fan.
Caroline, we're huge fans. I actually had no idea she was coming to have to work with you
Yeah.
until recently, but excited
Yes.
to have her. Welcome to Houston.
Yes.
Hope you're enjoying it so
Oh,
far.
I came over here. I guess maybe it was announced on a Monday or something, and that Tuesday, Cindy runs up to me. Well, Caroline Collins is going to come to your station. I got to meet her.
You're revealing me.
We're replacing him now.
Right,
yeah, with Caroline.
right. Yes.
So it's going to be Caitlin and Caroline, I guess.
No.
I mean, she's got a big TikTok.
Yeah, she's got
following.
almost 2 million followers on TikTok.
I mean, that's how you
that's
were
how I
aware.
mean, yeah, she's from Fresno, and that's how I followed her. And then she said, "Oh, I'm going to Fox in Houston," and I was like,
What
"Oh,
a small world.
And Cindy said, "Stay away from Randy Wallace."
no, just text
Don't
me.
let
if you have
Andy
problems."
go.
All right, yeah. If
Yeah.
he gets out of hand, just let me know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, thank you all so much for joining us. You are watching this because you care about this issue. Please be sure to tune in to Fox 26 News at 9 tonight for a breaking bond segment. It's going to be a good one, so please watch that. If you care about this, share the YouTube video with your friends, with your colleagues, with anybody that you think wants to know more about this issue. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.